Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elistar Vilgaros, and welcome back to more Satisfactory. Last time, we managed to get our fuel power plant online, and now we are finally making actual power. Imagine that. We finally do not have to worry about power, keeping up with all of the factories that we have currently in the game. That is a watchtower and not a power tower. So you know what? I'm just going to come on down here. We are currently making about 32,000 megawatts per minute, which is an amazing amount of power. And it's all thanks to our little fuel setup that we got here, using the diluted fuel recipe, using heavy oil residue and turning water into fuel. So today, we're going to be expanding upon this concept here and turning some of this fuel into turbo fuel. I was doing some work offline, just expanding the factory a little bit, and kind of getting a general idea of what I want to do in regards to the production of turbo fuel. And I think I got a pretty good idea of what we're doing here. So our fuel reserves are looking pretty good. Everything is going smoothly. You know, maybe I should cut this one off a little bit just to let it fill up a little. And give it some time. But today, like I said, we're working with turbo fuel. I already got all of the blenders that we're going to need set up. And I was looking and doing some math. And I'm realizing now, and I realized at the end of the last episode, that our ratios that we have are kind of bad in regards to turbo fuel. We have plenty of sulfur. We can make petroleum coke through more heavy oil residue. But the problem is, we need the fuel, which is no problem. I already have that all set up. All of these blenders that you see here uses one line of fuel that we have. So only one blender we need. We need more heavy oil residue. There's 16 full of these, so we need to do that math. 60 times 16 is 960 heavy oil residue, plus an additional 40, so that's 1,000. That's 10 refineries. That is 10 of our refineries that need to be dedicated in order to make the turbo fuel. That is going to change a lot of our material here. Not to mention, the petroleum coke is also going to take even more of our refineries. So the chances are we are gonna have to reorganize everything on the lower floor here. Let me just hook this back up real quick, because I think that's a pretty decent amount of fuel as a backup. But the good news is that I have spent a lot of time mostly figuring out how I am going to do this. It's a good thing that all of our fuel is coming from just this line of blenders right here, because the chances are we're going to have to destroy this row, and possibly most of this row in order to make what I believe is close to about 1,000 something or other turbo fuel. So that's 90 times 16 is 1,440, plus another 60 is about 1,500 turbo fuel. And that's a lot of turbo fuel because these things only burn 7.5 turbo fuel per minute. So you want to do that? You want to do that math? 1,500 divided by 7.5. That's 200 fuel power plants or fuel generators. That's a lot of generators. That's so much generators. So many generators. Oh my god. But it's not all going to be used for power. Don't worry. Chances are we're going to need the turbo fuel in order to make rocket fuel, which burns at an even slower rate than turbo fuel. I unfortunately don't know because, well, we don't have rocket fuel unlocked. So, objective today is to get turbo fuel online and to get rocket fuel on the chopping block. I would also like to get canisters made and potentially getting automatic fuel canisters going because I do have 40 fuel per minute extra burning just sitting here doing nothing. And I kind of want to get this going because having to go all the way over to our temporary rubber and plastic plant for any kind of fuel is getting kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so we need to gather some materials, and I need to figure out exactly how many of the refineries down below we have to get rid of. Because once we get rid of them, we have to add refineries to this section here in order to start making the petroleum coke and the likes of that. So we're going to be losing a lot of fuel, but hopefully it'll be worth it in the end. Rest in peace to all of the many hours that I spent on all of these water extractors and clean, prestigious pipelines. RIP. Ow. That hurts. Alright. Here we go. I also realize I'm going to be gaining a lot of power shards back, which kind of sucks. Because I just made a shit ton more. But that's okay. Let me figure this out, and I'll see what I can do. 10 refineries, obviously, we need. Just for the heavy oil residue on its own. We'll have to see what happens with the rest of the materials. It's cleanup time. So, yeah, I didn't really have to delete that much. I had to delete, what is this, 4, 8, 10? And I only have, what was that, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So I didn't even have to delete half of the fuel generators. It was a lot less than I expected it to be. But yeah, with all the pipe, with all of these heavy oil residue pipes, only, you know, holding 500 heavy oil residue per minute. Yeah, it worked out pretty well, I gotta say. I just hooked up the power to all of them, and now, you know, they're slowly starting to fill up with petroleum coke. There's enough fuel in here. There's enough heavy oil residue in here for everyone. But, yeah. The only issue now is that we are going to need, what is that, 45 times 16 plus these two guys, which is going to be 15 and 15, so 30. So plus 30, 750 sulfur per minute. Which, okay, that doesn't seem like that bad of a task, because, thankfully, I already thought of this. I knew this was going to be an issue at some point in time. So what we're going to do, actually, is we're going to set up a little system over here. I know where there is some sulfur, and if I'm not mistaken, this is going to line up perfectly. Hell yeah. So, what we're going to do, we're going to put splitters on all of these top lifts here. Just like so, and we're going to hook up this system basically the exact same way as I have the petroleum coke going, using the overflow method that we're all familiar with now. Using Mark 5 belts. Just like so. Of course, using the straight method, we can make those beautiful 90-degree turns. Hook all of these up just like this. Super fast, super simple. No problem. I am probably going to have to eventually make a blueprint out of these guys, just because setting up all these pipes and belts are incredibly annoying. But what we're going to do now is take this conveyor floor hole, go up, so. Okay, we gotta move that over just a smidge. You gotta be kidding me, right? Does it have to go out this way more? Yeah, there we go. Default mode will get us just like that. Then we're going to put another floor hole right here. Another Mark 5 input. Then we're going to bring the sulfur right along the wall here. I don't know if I like that. I'll probably move that eventually. But yeah, pretty much we're just going to be bringing it right along this wall up till about here. Curving it so that way it's against this back wall here. And then using this platform, we're going to go gather our sulfur. And of course, I'm going to have to move things around because it's a little funky around here. So pretty much, we got to bring this platform somewhere like up. I think it's like up here. Where the hell is it? There are 3 sulfur nodes that are very, very close by. Oh, here they are. Oh, it's a lot closer than I thought it was. Whoop. Oh, I was just blind. I didn't see it. So we got, let's see here, a normal node, a pure node, oh, and an impure node. That's a lot more sulfur than I expected to be here. Go away. Luckily for us, though, we only need this normal node right here. So let's set up a production, get our mark... Or no, wait, is it on the pure one? Oh, because we only have access to Mark 2. I think it's the pure one that we gotta put it on. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it on the pure one just to be safe. Let's go, Mark 2. And then we're gonna crank this bitch up. Wait, what? What? We need Mark 3 miners, like, really badly. Holy crap, we need Mark 3 miners. So badly. So badly. Only 600. Only 600 sulfur out of a pure node. Blech, gross. Disgusting. That's disgusting. Alright. Well, on the bright side, it's not going to be that far. So let me just hook this up real fast, and I shall return. Okay. The sulfur is now flowing. And all in all, it didn't really take all that much to get it going. But we have it going, and that means we have turbo fuel. Now, I gotta do the math on these. Each of these are producing 90. There is 6 per row, so it's making 540 per row. Brother! The fact that I'm gonna need 3 pipes just to hold all of this stuff is kind of crazy. Let's see. Oop, nope. We gotta make a brand new swatch here. And we gotta get it going on that fiery, bright freaking red. The FF Quad Zero hex code. That right there. Oh, yeah. That is Turbo Fuel Red. Boom, baby. We gonna fill these babies up. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. It's so good. Alright. Now, what do we need to do about the turbo fuel? Yes, the turbo fuel does need to be sent out into, you know, our power plant, because that's the primary reason why it was made. But I kind of want to hold off on that for a minute here, because there is a little something that we gotta do first. And that is going to require a packager real quick. A packager. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and drop like right here. We're gonna power this sucker. And we're gonna make some packaged turbo fuel. I'm gonna take some empty canisters. You know what? I just don't want to wait for any of this, so make it, please. And then we're gonna build a MAM. So over here in the sulfur quarter, we need to unlock rocket fuel. I'm sick and tired. I am so sick and tired of using just standard fuel as my rocket thing. Or as the fuel for my jetpack. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm gonna run back over to the desert base and go grab the hard drive that I have saved for this specific reason. So that way we can unlock rocket fuel and we can see just how screwed I am. Because I'm pretty sure this is going to require a lot more material in order to make now that we have the turbo fuel ready. And it'll help me with the numbers in order to calculate what I need to do in order to make the rocket fuel and how much I can spare towards the power plant. Alrighty, it is time. I'm gonna have this actually going for a little bit so that way I can gather some turbo fuel myself to use. But here we go. Sulfur rocket fuel. Let's see what we got.
Rocket fuel unlocked. Pioneers will be able to use rocket fuel in the fuel generator and any vehicle that uses fuel, including the jetpack, with appropriate results. Warning: mixing rocket fuel into coffee does not enhance its energizing effect.
Ah! There it is. There's the problem. Nitric acid. 60 turbo fuel per minute and 10 nitric acid per minute gives you 100 rocket fuel per minute. Oh boy. So, funny thing about this. Funny thing about this. There's also an alternate recipe for this, which is interesting. The nitric acid, we don't even have unlocked yet. In order to unlock the nitric acid, I think we need to go into more of phase 8. But hey, we got turbo fuel now, which is awesome. Actually, let me change my jetpack here. Preferred fuel, turbo fuel. Oof. Oof, you can already see the difference. You can already see how much better turbo fuel is compared to standard fuel. And that is just gorgeous in my eyes. I love turbo fuel. I'll be even happier when we have rocket fuel available. So that means, technically speaking, we can just go ahead and get rid of the fuel aspect of this little temporary factory here and then just shift it into just making more and more power until I make the rubber and plastic plant. Oh my god, this is amazing. Let's see here. What do we have to do in order to get nitric acid? It's not in aeronautical engineering. It's not in nuclear power. It's not in leading edge production. It's in particle enrichment? What? You mean to tell me that I have to go through the process of making turbo motors before I get access to nitric acid? You're joking. All right, well, the rocket fuel power plant isn't going to last very long. Or that's not happening for a while, I should say. But god damn, okay. Friggin' nitric acid. being a pain in the butt. Oh, in another note, I think I solved our supercomputer problem. There is an alternate recipe in the assembler called the OC supercomputer, which makes 3 of these suckers per minute for 6 cooling systems and 2 radio control units per minute. That's pretty good. I might need that. We might use that. We are going to use that, actually. Because, yeah, the supercomputers are going to be a major aspect of everything. The fused modular frames are also going to be a big thing. We can actually automate these right now if we wanted to. And we need them for the turbo motors. We need to make supercomputers and turbo motors at the same time. Just out of curiosity, what do the cooling systems need again? Heat sinks, which is just aluminum casings and copper. Rubber, I have. Water, I have. And nitrogen gas. I can make that. I can make those. I just need to do a little bit of infrastructure to go get some nitric gas that I know of. And then I can technically bring that over here. But I don't care right now. I do not care right now. Primary objective was turbo fuel. We have it. And now we need to figure out what are we going to do in terms of our power grid. All right. The math has been done, and I have discovered a lot. We have about 540 turbo fuel in these 2 containers and the pipes coming through them, which is a pretty decent amount. We have about 420 in this one, only because of those 2 other blenders here being underclocked a bit. Just to compensate for all of the extra, you know, heavy oil residue that we don't have. But that's totally fine, because the way I was thinking about this, 7.5 is not a whole lot. You can look and say 540, right, divided by 7.5 is 72. 72 fuel generators. That's a lot. That is a lot. I don't want to build 72 fuel generators in this field here that I have, which I'm currently expanding outwards in more towards the Blue Crater Lake biome. But why don't we overclock them instead? Why don't we do that? You can put 2 power shards in the fuel power generators and overclock it to where now it's using 15 per minute. That's only 36 per pipe. That's not that bad. If you take it a step further and take it to 18.75, that's only 28, but I don't like dealing with that with those decimals. So 36 isn't that bad. And of course, you paint it red to see the split between the fuel generators and the turbo fuel generators. And eventually, when we get to rocket fuel and ionized fuel, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So 36 times 2 is 72 generators with 2 power shards in them. Correct. 36 times 2 is 72. 72 times 500 is about 36,000. Is about 36,000 megawatts of power. We're doubling our power grid right now. Yeah, that's a little crazy. We're doubling the power grid as it stands right now. With the coal power plants and the fuel, those 18 machines are making the exact same amount. So that's great. I need to go get more rubber, because I am running out, and motors is also going to be a problem. I should really put dimensional depots on rubber, plastic, and motors, because I've been using a lot of those in this project here. Ah, there we go. Take a look at that graph. From 32,546 to 61,000. Excuse me. 61,696. Oh boy. That right there is what I would call a pretty good amount of power. Is it going to be enough for everything that we're going to be doing? Absolutely not. You'd be crazy to think that. You're crazy. But I gotta admit, only having this many power plants for just over, was it 1,080 turbo fuel per minute? That's pretty decent. I mean, that is significantly better than that. But we still got 2 more to do. We still have 2 more to do. And if you think, I gotta think about what we're doing in terms of like packaging as well. Because we got packaged fuel that's gonna take 40 per minute. There's packaged turbo fuel that takes 20 per minute. But I'm probably gonna overclock that to do 40. It just makes sense. It, honest to God, just makes sense to do that. And what's even better is we still have turbo fuel that needs to be sent up into the next tier of fuel production. And I haven't decided yet whether or not I want to maybe just come over to this side and do the turbo fuel, or not the turbo fuel, the rocket fuel, I should say. And, you know, let's just say move the coated concrete path this way and have it to where I can select the proper things to demonstrate this and have it to where, like, it overlooks the lake. We can come out this way, but then, you know, we have sizing problems. Because how I usually do things is I keep everything about a tile in, like this. But I can also center it like so. You select the rocket fuel recipe, and it's only 2 pipes, which really isn't that big of a big of a problem. We have what, 200 or 420? My mistake. 420 turbo fuel remaining. 60, so 420 divided by 60 is about 7. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that worked out way better than I expected it to. Okay. So, and that'll be 700 rocket fuel per minute? Jeez Louise. What am I going to do with that much rocket fuel? Oh, but I can't do 420. You silly goober. I need to save 40 of it. Well, even then, it's not going to be using all 40 of it, but I'm going to have to underclock this one to where it's only using about that, 20 per minute. That'll be fine. I mean, even then, that's still 633 rocket fuel per minute. That's insane. That's an insane amount of rocket fuel. And even then, 633 rocket fuel per minute, that'll be enough to supply an entire pipe of rocket fuel. And very easily, we could just take one of these, you know, line it up here with this guy, and then line up another guy right here for the ionized fuel. Now here's the thing. Rocket fuel has like a red and yellow-ish color to it. So I've been trying to figure out what kind of color I want to go with to color this. And I don't even know what ionized fuel looks like. I was thinking about maybe like a tangent orange for this. Red and yellow together. Like a very bright orange. Just to offset it from the like the color. Yeah, that makes sense. Like it looks more yellow than orange. Like a vibrant ass yellow. I don't know. But at least what we can do is take this pipe right here, have it go underneath about right here, and then move this. Ooh, no, wait, that's way too close. We're gonna have it about right there. Yeah, that's a lot better. Right there is a lot better. We'll go with that. Then we can take it and go all the way to the end. Just like that. And once we have the nitric acid, once we unlock it, it'll work out. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And the cool thing is, we can actually make the nitric acid back down here, in this little section here. Nitric acid really isn't that difficult to make. I'm pretty sure it just takes a blender and some materials. Iron plates, if I'm not mistaken. And then we could just build it here. Funnily enough, we still have a lot of fuel we're not using. So, we might have to look into maybe making some more turbo fuel? I don't know. But, I would like to just get rocket fuel up and going. And once we have access to ionized fuel, then we will worry about optimizing the whole power plant and getting everything all settled up. Because remember, any building that we have, up until we have everything unlocked, is all temporary. I just want to put that into the mind. This massive project that we've been working on for the last couple episodes is still temporary. It's all temporary. This will get ripped out and completely reconstructed once we have a lot of the later technologies, I could say. Yeah. And look at that. So much turbo fuel ready to go. We don't have to worry about it now. So, what are we going to be doing now? Well, the power plant is pretty much done. We got everything that we need out of all of this. A couple of things before we wrap up this project. I mentioned before that we wanted to go and make some stuff with the polymer resin that we have over here. Well, polymer resin is used in quite a lot of recipes, believe it or not. You can make rubber, plastic, but the most important thing, you can make fabric out of it. This is what we're after. That's right, we're doing this. We need a fabric production going on. So, we open up with just a couple of refineries, of course. We need a source of water. And of course, we need the polymer resin that comes over here. Now, the problem is, since we're not using all of the fuel and everything that is coming from over here, we need to know how much polymer resin is coming through these machines. And I believe I don't have a solution for that. Okay. Interesting. So we just have to figure out how much polymer resin we're making. All of these machines right here are being used at not 100% efficiency. These are, though. Oh, and these are making a lot, like 250 per minute. Interesting. So this pipe right here is making a little bit. But what I'm curious is for this pipe right here. 45, 46, 97, 100, 100, 0, 0. What do you mean 0? What are you making? You just you're just sitting here doing nothing. Okay. 0, 0, 0. You're making stuff. Oh, because you're on the end of this. Right. So we got 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. All right, so 50, 100, 150, 200, and 250 polymer resin coming out of this pipe right here. I think that'll be good enough to start off. And if you follow it all the way over, it goes up, over, up this way, and right through here. 250 polymer resin. Turning that into polyester fabric. It's a 101. All right. 75. We can do 250 divided by 75. No. We can do 250 into 50, though. How bad is that going to mess me up here? 50. Not bad at all. It's going to save me a power shard, too. So, it's 100, 200. You can just delete those. Come over here. 100, 200, 250. Done. Easy. We're off to the races now. Obviously, we got to supply all this with power. Then we have to set up the emergency. So we'll put that up. We will get a smart splitter going here, with any going to the left, and overflow going straight. And that's that. Nope. Can I just come over this way, please? There we go. Alright. So let's get this. Let's do that. And then what we're going to do is take this guy and hook him up there. Perfect. Alright, now we need to get the water. And of course, luckily for me, I have thought of this. And I already have the infrastructure set up. It's only going to be using 250 water, which we very, very easily have. Very easily we have. And it's just the matter of going to go get it. So let me go and do that real fast. My editor, of course, is going to very kindly fast forward this whole thing, make it easier for your viewing pleasures. Alright, and there we go. Now all we gotta do, just supply some power. And then, because I always forget to do this, is to supply the refineries with said water. There we go. Now we have 250 fabric per minute coming in. Which is perfect. Because with that fabric, it allows us to... Please don't tell me I don't have this recipe unlocked. Quartz mycelia. No, I have it unlocked. What the hell? Yeah, the gas filters. What are the gas filters made out of? Gas filters. Oh, interesting. Ah, alright. Well, the big boys. So it uses the fabric with some coal and some iron plates to automate gas filters. Interesting. Well, if I'm not mistaken, there is a little bit of coal nearby. Yes, there is, right there. It is a pure coal node. There's a crap ton of iron over here with more coal, more sulfur, a pure sulfur node nonetheless, some caterium, limestone, more iron, a pure iron node. There's a lot of stuff over here. Well then, Well then, I might have to construct a little thingy for all of that stuff. Because that is a lot of materials that we could be using somewhere else. But in the meantime, yeah, the fabrics are good enough for right now. We have a power plant. We have 63,000 megawatts of power just ready to go at a moment's notice, which is fantastic. But the last thing that I want to cover before we leave this area is packaging and some dimensional depot stuff going on. But that'll be all for now, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get into that and our next project, which is going to begin in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like if you guys want to see some more Satisfactory. And yeah, make sure to follow me on all my other socials. Come follow me on Twitch as well. I'm going to be doing some live streams a lot frequently now. And I hope you guys enjoy. So thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.